Welcome everyone to our today's webinar. Thanks for joining. We had to improvise a little due to travel issues and flu season. So I'm welcoming here today Alex Joseph, our VP of Solution Engineering. Alex.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Alex Joseph. I'm the VP of Solution Engineering at enosiX. Thank you for joining.
So Alex and I will chat a little today what we learned about at Dreamforce. And then the best thing, Alex will show us a couple of great new products we launched around Dreamforce. So really exciting stuff. But first, I think everybody that was at Dreamforce, not sure if any of you made it, but the big message was speed is the new currency. And what does that really mean for us? So for sales and service teams, it means speed to serve the client faster and better, to win businesses over your competitors with better and more accurate information. I think that was a huge hot topic. Everybody wanted to have more information about the client. Real time was a big topic, of course, that's relevant for us. And then for Salesforce success teams, the speed to bring more value to your Salesforce user community quicker. The tools need to be better. Integration cycles or development cycles or changes can't take weeks or months anymore. The sales team, the VP of sales, marketing, they expect changes within days and weeks so that they can react quicker to the market and to customer requirements. So at the end, it does not matter what the speed means. Speed is everywhere. It's about delivering results quicker and being ahead of the competition. And I think that was a huge statement at Dreamforce that I saw. But I want to hear from you, Alex, what you saw. You did a lot of demos. Had a lot of conversation with Salesforce people. You had a lot of conversation with customer prospects, a lot with partners. What's the cases you heard at Dreamforce?
Yeah, I mean, so I was there all day, every day, right? Achy feet and a sore throat after talking to 500 plus people. And we spoke to a variety of people. We spoke to, end customers of Salesforce. We spoke to a lot of Salesforce AEs and Salesforce solution engineers. We spoke to a lot of system integrators, consultants, and the common themes that stood out to me were, pretty much everyone was, when they started out with this sales, and everyone who's tried it, came up with the same conclusions. When they first started, it seemed sort of easy because the requirements were, not that great. We just had a few fields that they wanted to map across the two systems. But then as they matured, and then their end users started asking for more, that's when it started getting really tricky, right? So now they want to see order status, they want to see delivery tracking information, they want to see invoice aging. Hey, can I look at pricing? So it's a never-ending cycle of, building out these integrations, and very tough to keep up with. So that was one of the first things that stood out. And then what we heard is that even if those requests could be fulfilled, the sheer volume of data in SAP made it next to impossible, right? So if you want to get down to granular piece of transactional data like delivery tracking, I mean, we're talking millions of rows of records that need to be moved over before you can get to that sort of information in from SAP. Plus, we are not just talking about getting to a database and a field within a database. We are talking full process-based integration, and now that is really tough to do, right? So when you move on from just saying, hey, I want to see this data element, and then move into the realm of I want to simulate pricing from SAP, or I want to look at inventory and I want to simulate what happens if I sell out of this plant versus that plant. Now that's creating a level of complexity that the traditional ETL tools could just not deliver.
Or if you go into CPQ integration with variant configuration, which we launched with Max Rudman there at Dreamforce, exactly. I think those are complexities. You cannot just synchronize data anymore. It's not possible.
And the bottom line of all of this is, like Mark Benioff very aptly said, speed is the new currency. Even if we could do this, it takes way too long. And all their end users wanted this data as of yesterday. So they just cannot wait, and you cannot tell them, all right, I'm going to give you this stuff, but you'll have to wait 8 months till we get there. So data gets stale, then the requirements go away, people are annoyed, and so that was pretty much the core of everything that we heard. speed being the most important, one of them. And you'll see in the demo that I do here shortly how we've basically made that kind of go away and give you the access to that data on day one.
And exactly, it's right into the discussion why the traditional ETL tools, the old school data syncing doesn't work anymore, right? It's way too difficult to create all those separate integration points. There is little or probably no pre-built scenarios on processes if it comes to order entry and process and transactions. And our approach that we really tried to do is to have all that in mind and fit the integration tool like a glove. So we really specialize to integrate Salesforce with SAP. We don't want to be one glove fits all, because we think that's not possible with a backend system like SAP. Everybody knows that there's a lot of customization and complexity. So we really aim to, we want to get you live with our AppExchange product now. We can get you live in days. And even if you want to do complex enterprise stuff like returns, order entry, pricing integration, variant configuration, we're talking about a couple of weeks and not months, or even we hear quotes 10, 12 months comparison quotes that we see in the market. That's just not sustainable anymore. And that was really the big approach for real time, get all the clutter out of Salesforce, make sure we leverage the business processes. And that's the common theme in the industry at the moment, right? Let SAP do the heavy lifting on the order and logistics side, where it's really good at, but then benefit from all the great stuff that Salesforce has on the front end and custom engagement side, and mash them both up. Before we go into demo, I want to just one customer example that ties right into their AAF International. They had the same situation. They had a tool that was data synchronization focused. They got stuck after putting it in, got only 60% of the functionality they needed. We undid all that, all the custom objects they had to build in Salesforce. In 6 weeks, we untangled all that and took them back to a solution that's highly scalable and where they can grow from. So we took them 6 weeks, go live for that. The big value for them is that selling time was increased dramatically. So we saved them, that was one of their studies, 8.9 hours a week per sales rep. And for 50 sales rep, that's a huge number. Just taking out manual steps necessary, calls into the back office, waiting, emails for stuff they were not able to do before. If there's any questions on that, reach out to us. We'll of course send more information on those use cases we have. Now, Alex, I want to get to the fun part and let you show our new AppExchange product that we launched around Dreamforce, and the really cool capability of basically plug and play integration between Salesforce and SAP.
Yes, thanks, Jared. So this is the product that we unveiled at Dreamforce. Remember that this is only a part of what we do. The things that you will see here, are basically giving you read-only access to these SAP data elements. There, you will see that all of this is Lightning enabled, and obviously to enable the drag and drop features and functionality, you must be Lightning enabled as well. But the same data, if you're not Lightning enabled and you're running in Classic, we can deliver the same data to you via Visualforce pages as well. So just keep that in mind as I walk you through this. So the first thing that you'll see here is that the speed and the ease of which we do this, right? So on the left-hand panel, you're seeing the Lightning page components that contain these SAP data elements. And these are all delivered to you on day one. So you download the app, you make the connectivity to your SAP system, and that's about it. You're basically, from that point onwards, as the Salesforce administrator, you're just dragging and dropping these data elements into your Salesforce account screen. So you could take the screen and you could build out your own tabs here that each of those tabs individually contain data, and you can parse it out the way you want to have it visualized to your end users. But for purposes of this demo, I'm just going to drag and drop these page components right here. So for example, I can take SAP customer detail and drop it right in there. That is now refreshing in real time from the backend SAP system. So think about how powerful that is. Most companies will sit there and spend weeks on end just to get to this sort of information. In the same way, I can bring in say the SAP customer partners that are tied to this one. So all of this information will flow in right away. So I guess I need to drop it in down here. Excuse me, my mouse is a little flaky here, but yeah, for example, I can just take SAP customer partners and we can drop it up there. So you see how the ease of which the speed and the simplicity of what we are doing. Let me just flip over to the backend SAP system and show you how this refreshes in real time as well. So notice that the street here is 950 Central Avenue. I can jump over really quick, and this is the related SAP sold to party, and this is the customer master record in SAP. I'm just going to change that 950 Central Avenue and say 123 Main Street and save that off. And when we flip back over here, so a simple page refresh by your end user, or if we are in here, we can just toggle these fields on and off. I'm going to take away display street and house number, and then when I bring them back in, you'll see that it refreshes with the real-time data from the backend SAP system. So there you have it. You have 123 Main Street. So you saw how easy that was. We didn't have to touch any code. You're not going to rewrite any of the integrations. Anything that is in the backend SAP system is being brought forward into Salesforce without persisting that data in Salesforce. Now, of course, if we wanted to persist some of this data in Salesforce, you could do that. But the whole idea is to keep SAP data in SAP, and Salesforce data in Salesforce, and then basically what you have here is a mashup of that Salesforce data alongside the SAP data.
So Alex, one more thing just to go through. I was yesterday at a Fortune 500 company and we showed this, and one cool thing was when we basically dragged over the order history, open orders, and then with that drag over, we dug into the detail of the documents, and we could fully customize open orders with order details, with delivery information, fully customized through this tool in like 10 minutes, and had that available for the users. And then we went through different user groups. So with the Salesforce admin, we went through and said, okay, let's create for this user group. They are doing collections. They want to see invoice data. We created a separate screen for invoicing data and so on. That was then role-based for their. The screens were then role-based, dependent, and that showed the power. Within a couple of hours, we had 4 or 5 different screens that were really individualized for those users. And I think that's the real power of this tool. We can create those mini apps with the mini views and really tailor it to the audience with no coding at all.
Absolutely. And then remember that you don't have to, like I just did the drag and drop. You're not showing you the next layer, which is basically saying, hey, let's filter this information, right? So you may not want to show all the sales orders from SAP. You may only want to show sales order of a certain document type. Maybe I don't want to show return orders and credit memo requests and so on and so forth. Maybe I only want to show orders that exceed a certain net value. So whatever those filters are, you can apply them and then have that specific data rendered. So here, basically what I did is, this is our SAP sales document. When this screen refreshes, you'll see the amount of detail that's coming in here, right? So we have the header details, the status information, the partners tied to that order, all the line item information, credit card information if that's available. Plus, what you must understand is because this is real time, my security in the SAP environment is what dictates what I can see or not see here. So if I had access only to a certain sales area in SAP, that's what I see here. I don't have to worry about replicating my security in 2 systems. What I have in SAP dictates what I can see over here in Salesforce. So that makes people in finance, in the SOX, in audit and governance very happy. Plus, it's ease of, you're not pushing this large volume of data into Salesforce. Salesforce database just cannot handle this kind of volume. So that was about it for the demo. Let's stop and see if we have any questions. Let's give it a minute here. So will we able to get a yes, so we are recording this webinar, and we will send out a copy of the recorded webinar so you can share it as well, and we'll probably put it up on our YouTube channels as well. So there's another question coming in. How long does a typical implementation take in a customized SAP environment? So it's a great question. So everyone's SAP environment is customized to some extent. The implementation timelines are directly correlated to how complex the customization is. But I can tell you, for what I just showed you, even if we rate the complexity of the customization on a scale of 1 to 10 and you're at about an 8, instead of it taking 3 days, it's probably going to take just a little bit under 10 days. Let me put it that way. So we're still talking in terms of days for the product that I just demonstrated to you. Now, obviously, you can see up here in the slide that I'm showing you, we also have other products that enable, for example, Salesforce CPQ to SAP variant configuration integration, which means that we are able to leverage SAP variant configuration logic, including pricing. So that kind of complexity will obviously drive up the implementation times, but still, as compared to how you had done it in the past, it's a fraction of that, right? We're talking weeks and not like months or years to finish this sort of an implementation. Let's see if there's any other questions. It says, what SAP releases do you support? So great news is that we are backward compatible from an SAP standpoint. We are our product actually is an SAP certified add-on, and we are installing the product inside of the SAP environment. The product is certified to run on releases 4.7, which is around 2002-ish, all the way up to S4 HANA, which is the new release from SAP. Any chance you can simply do a demo of the CPQ VC? I wish we had time, but I think Carol is asking the question. Yeah, that's the next webinar coming. But we'll also reach out to you separately and schedule some time to do the CPQ VC integration demo, because it's a little more involved and it takes some time. So we can do some one-on-one with you as well.
So there is something coming on the CPQ VC integration, which was of course a big topic at Dreamforce. And then the other one that's really cool is we just released at Dreamforce as well, Lightning Connector reporting with SAP. So we connected our smart objects in the backend that you just saw in the AppExchange product in the designer to the Lightning Connector as well. We can access as well BW information, so you can then mash SAP data in real time with aggregated data in real time with the Salesforce data, and have the full power of customizing your charts and dashboards within Salesforce. So awesome to get real time reporting out of SAP as well, and present it very nicely within your Salesforce environment.
So let's see if we have any other questions coming up.
There's a couple of questions.
Yeah, I think we already covered that. There is one more coming in here. It's talking about what other areas of SAP we can integrate with. So it's a good question. So out of the box, we are able to integrate Salesforce and SAP for pretty much every process that you can think of, or every object that you can think of within the order to cash process stream in SAP, right? So you already saw customers and deliveries, invoices, and all of the details, right? So order details, invoice aging, inventory, all of that. So that all works out of the box. Not only that, but we're also able to integrate with things that touch order to cash. This could include things like warranty management, rebates, maybe you have contracts set up in SAP, Maybe you have serialized products and you want to expose those serial numbers, install base management. So think of everything that also integrates in the SAP world with order to cash. All of those objects are delivered as well. So in essence, you're basically buying those integrations, you're not building them, and you have access to those objects pretty much day one of go live, right? This is not an iterative integration cycle, a never-ending integration cycle, right? So,
and there is a full, of course, with the enterprise edition that we have, there's a full CRUD functionality. So you can create orders out of Salesforce, you can do returns, you can do real-time pricing, ATP, you can push from opportunities when they converted that they got won automatically into codes or orders in SAP, so that you have a seamless process integration between the two systems.
Yep. And so the one point I would also like to reiterate is that we are basically experts inside of SAP processes as well, right? So when we walk into companies like yourselves that are running both Salesforce and SAP, the SAP team doesn't have to spend time with us trying to explain what is happening inside of SAP, right? We know what needs to be done. We already have the integrations pre-built. All the development work is done. And we are able to speak in SAP terms to the SAP team, thereby cutting short, a lot of the miscommunication that could potentially happen between the Salesforce team and the SAP team. Let's see if we have any other questions. So at this point, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. Once again, thanks to everyone for attending the webinar. I hope you found it useful. We will put up the recorded version of this webinar out on our YouTube channels so that you can share it with your colleagues as well. So thanks again for attending.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Have a good rest of the day.
Have a great day.